fun about it. All right, thank you for listening to the Theory of Creativity. So should we announce our exciting news about the plan that we're doing, or should we like wait for it?
We should tell them now.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So we're thinking about like switching our format from the theory of ... to something pretty cool. We've been watching a lot of like animated movies recently, and we have a lot of commentary that we'd like to share with you. So we're planning on switching our podcast format to more of a an animation-based commentary thing. So, yeah, just be patient with us. In the meantime, we're just going to keep doing these types of formatting podcasts. Otherwise, yeah.
Right. Yeah, we still kind of enjoy this current format,
Mm-hmm.
but it just kind of like takes like it's a lot of effort.
Especially for things that we're not experts on.
Right. Yeah. So we kind of have to read up on a lot of stuff in a relatively short period of time. So it's kind of taxing, and especially with all of the other things that we have going on. So.
Right. So, with what we're more interested in, animation, I think we'll have a lot more fun with it, and you guys will see a lot of funny commentary, I think, from it. In the meantime, yeah, this is the theory of brains.
Right, the theory of brains, and some other stuff, most likely.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna try a little something different and just sort of speak what's on our mind and
In our brains.
we didn't really do any research at all on this subject, so this is either gonna turn out really great or it's gonna bomb bad.
But our brains will help, I think. We've got some smart brains, right?
I do. I don't.
Oh,
actually.
well, you got all that hair to like hide that big brain going on in there.
Right. Lot like the Chuck Norris thing. Like he has a fist in his beard, but for me, I have a brain in my
You got a
throat.
brain in your hair. It's like what is it Mushu the monkey from Powerpuff Girls? Why do I want to call him
Wait,
Mushu?
Mojo Jojo?
Mojo Jojo. No, Mushu is from Mulan. What am I thinking? No, Mojo Jojo. You're like Mojo Jojo.
It's wait. Oh, monkey. Okay, nice.
Oh,
Great.
what?
Great.
No, it's like a big brain.
Thanks. Wait. I'm Garrison, and I'm here with Sarah.
Hey.
Yeah, and yeah, that's right. The theory of brains and some other stuff, most
Yeah.
likely.
Yes.
Man, where should we start?
So what's your brain taste like, Garrison?
Huh?
What's your brain taste like? Do you know?
Salty, I guess.
That's probably true. I just thought I'd ask.
Why that question?
Why are you questioning my question?
Actually, it's probably irony, I guess. Like
You said irony, like it was like ironic. But no, yeah, okay. So irony. Wait, I don't know if you can say it like without sounding like ironic. Yeah, no, it probably tastes like blood.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Have you had like brain to eat?
No, but you want to hear a really gross story? So my dad, when I was growing up, I mean, he likes to eat weird stuff, right? Like organs and stuff like normally people wouldn't eat. But like, he cooked an entire lamb's head when I was like 8, like in our kitchen, and it's one of those things that's like you stew it for hours, and like the stench of it is disgusting. And like I just remember like going up to it and seeing like this boiling lamb's head like in this giant pot, right? And it's like boiling, and it's got like steam coming off of it, and it's all gray and gross, and like you can see its eyeballs. And I just remember my dad like sticking a fork in its eye, pulling it out, and like just that's good. And I was like,
You didn't have any?
no. Have you ever had any like brains?
No, but I've heard like the texture is like jello, like a jello kind of texture.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really the biggest fan of like soft textures like oysters and things like that.
Mm.
How about you?
Well, I don't really eat meat anymore, but
Right.
you know,
Are oysters like
they have a
they're
brain.
living, right?
Yeah, I think they've got a brain.
And mussels, I think mussels are.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's like you eat the whole thing, so you're eating its brain.
Mm.
Yep.
Tasting brain. Wow. Yeah. Well, I guess on that same subject, like eating the brain of the same species as you are can like lead to neurological problems. Have you heard about that?
Right. Like, I wonder what it does. Like, what is it in that kind of thing that makes your brain act crazy? Like, is it just like too much of like one hormone, or like what is it? I don't know.
Well, maybe we could have known if we researched for this topic.
That's a good point, you know. But you know what was one part of like a movie that was like, oh, you know, I could probably try that and get away with it and maybe be okay. It's like the Indiana Jones movie where I think it was the one with the Jesus cup where they went and got the
Holy Grail.
the Holy Grail, the Indiana Jones and the Holy Grail, and like there's like this part in the movie where they meet like with this tribe, and they all sit around a table, and part of the dessert is monkey brains. That made me think I could probably try it one day, but I don't think so.
No, I think your window of opportunity is closed on that.
Yeah.
Right. So you mentioned like brains and like mussels and oysters.
Mhm.
Do worms have brains?
Worms have brains. I think every living creature has a brain, but it's like different than ours.
I think I like heard somewhere that like some animal doesn't have a brain.
Is it? There's like what are they called? Like sea mollusks, you know, like the sea cucumbers. I don't think that they have a brain. Or like their brain's somewhere weird. It's like in their butt or something like that.
Yeah, like sea urchins, sand dollars,
Right, like all of
clams,
those
and wait.
really simple sea creatures don't have brains.
It says oysters don't have brains or clams.
No, they don't.
It's interesting.
So they're just mussels.
Yeah.
It's weird to think that like things don't think.
Yeah, just like pure instinct. Just
Right. It's bizarre. So what do you think is the smartest creature on the planet?
I would say humans, but these days I'm not so sure.
Right.
Dolphins are, I guess, pretty smart from what I hear.
Have you ever met a dolphin before? Me neither. I've always wanted to meet a dolphin.
But I have been kissed by a sea lion, so.
That is really cute. Oh my god.
And like chimps, right?
Chimps are pretty smart. Though they also have been known to like eat their own species. Like be cannibals.
People have done that too.
Yeah, but this is, like you said, it's not like a very healthy thing to do.
Well, I guess that's just brains, like, but if you were to eat their flesh, it's fine, I guess.
But like to eat the neurological parts of their body.
I think that's the reason for Mad Cow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
they-
right.
they
Because
feed-
they put their own like cow parts in the feed of the cows. Like that's messed up.
Yeah. Yeah, but probably humans, I guess.
I really like cephalopods. You know, like the whole like octopus and cuttlefish.
Oh yeah, that's right. They are. Yeah. Like I think I heard like they're as smart as like in like eight might be too old. Like an 8-year-old kid, but like definitely like 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah, right. Like pigs are really smart too. Like on like the list of animals that are really smart, I would say there's some reptiles that are pretty smart too, but like their problem solving skills are not like they don't have thumbs, so they can't do like cool things like put blocks into other blocks. But like octopi, they can like figure out like and solve problems and like because they don't have a skeleton. Their entire system is just like a beak. Like that's the only like solid bone in their body, and then the rest of it's like neurons and transmitters and everything that just like flows through them. So they've got like an entire brain system.
Could you imagine like how much trouble cats and dogs would get into if they had the intelligence of like a dolphin or an octopus? That'd be bad.
Yeah. I mean, I love my dog, but if he was smarter than me, I probably wouldn't be able to. He would probably own me.
Yeah, I'm kind of open to the idea of like talking to your pet. I think that's cool. Yeah, like if they had human intelligence or close, like that kind of like changes the whole
It
dynamic.
does, yeah. It'd be like finding like a familiar or something,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like your partner in an animal form.
That'd be cool.
That would actually be really cool. It was like I was having a conversation the other day with somebody about having a tail. Like how awesome would that be? You'd have like an extended skeleton that would just like automatically know what to do. Like you wouldn't even be thinking about it. Like you don't think about your hands doing the things that they do.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Like would it just be like a regular tail, or would it be like a what they call it, prehensile?
What is it? Oh, like a
more
monkey
Yeah,
tail?
like that can grab stuff.
I would want an apprehensile tail.
Yeah, yeah. But you would probably have to like cut your pants and stuff, like make a little hole for it.
Could you imagine like the fashion statements that would come about because everybody had tails? We'd have like
Tail piercings or
yeah, like tail piercings or jewelry for your tail.
Mhm.
This is not about brains.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, actually, like the vertebrate species, right, are
Yeah.
are more intelligent, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, we brought that full circle. We're good.
Yeah, yeah.
Um. Yeah. What are your thoughts on on like people who like suffer brain injuries and end up in a coma for like, days, weeks, years?
That is super super difficult, I think. I don't know. Like I've never been in that situation to like have to like make a decision or anything, so I wouldn't know. If I was that person, I would want a chance, to come out of it.
Hmm.
But, if you're waiting a year and then I'm not out of it, then you might as well just say goodbye.
Yeah, and there's no like guarantee that you're the same person. Like some people like forget, basic things like swallowing. Like
It's not living.
right. And for the people that have to take care of them, it's basically like taking care of like a child,
Yeah.
like a handicapped child.
I mean, that's really sad. But I think, everybody deserves a chance at life,
Hmm.
but that doesn't always necessarily mean that they're living, I
Right,
guess.
yeah. You're right, like living and surviving are like two different things.
Yeah.
Like they're surviving, but are they really living? Because like so much has to go into just basic needs for them and the people around them.
Right.
It's-
Like they're alive, but
Mhm.
they can't go do the things that they want to do, you
Mhm.
know? I mean, like, independence is such a huge aspect of, like, daily life. Imagine if you were in a car accident and your parents had to take care of you for the rest of your life. And, like, that would just be heartbreaking for you and for them because once they passed away, who would take care of you?
Definitely, yeah. That's heart goes out to families
Mm-hmm.
with similar in similar situations.
Yeah, but that's not to say that people with brain injuries can't live a normal life. Because I think that there's been a lot of cases where people have had severe brain or head trauma injuries where they've been able to recover to a point where they were able to take care of themselves and do the things that anybody else would do. I think there was a case like a couple years ago where a guy had half a brain removed. I think it was due to cancer or something along those lines. Maybe it was an accident. And he was able to live a normal life. You know, he just had half a brain. But the cool thing about the brain, right, is that once if one part of your brain becomes inactive, the other part of your brain will overcompensate for the parts that aren't there anymore, or are having issues. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. I don't know if sight still works the same, because the way the brain works, it's the left hemisphere of your brain controls your right eye, and same for the opposite. So you might lose sight in one eye or another, but
Right,
yeah.
but what you brought up about like whatever your brain loses, it'll make up for it.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a few like stories about like people sustaining head injuries and coming out of it, like learning new languages, being like having really great memory,
Right.
being great at math and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like savants, like they may have an abnormal brain, but there are parts of their brain that are still active to the point where they can still take in information in a way that helps them survive. Yeah. I mean, have you heard recently about like the guy, there was like an entire head transplant that happened recently. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't heard about this. I think it was a place in Germany or somewhere where the medical laws are a little less strict. Somewhere in Europe. There was a surgeon who had a patient who's completely paralyzed from the neck down. And he wanted to do the very first world ever, like, head transplant. To get this guy basically like a new body, and apparently it was successful. I think it takes like over a year to become fully healed, but they hooked up the spine, they hooked up the nerves, the veins, everything, like, and he volunteered for it too.
Wow. We can basically make Frankenstein then, huh?
Yeah, they brought him back to life after having had his entire head cut off.
Are you sure that's a real story? That sounds kind
All
of...
right, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna prove you wrong. Oh, well, this is from Entertainment News. It says the world's first human head transplant successfully carried out. This is the guy. This is the doctor. That's a really bad picture of him. Don't think of him like that. Oh, Italian surgeon Sergio Cannavario has carried out the procedure. A Russian man, Valery Spiridonov, has already agreed to the first patient alive to undergo surgery and get his head frozen and grafted onto a donor's body. Let me see if there's like a video for it.
No, thank you.
Okay.
That's kind of gross.
Yeah, so it happened. It was successful.
There have been stories of people receiving certain transplants and their body rejecting it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, would his head reject it, or wait, no, the body would reject the head. I don't know, but that is that a possibility?
I think it is a possibility. That's why with any surgery like that, doctors have to keep a very close eye on the patient. A lot of it has to do with like blood and tissue alignment, And if like the blood doesn't flow well, I mean, it'll just kind of die. Like the tissue will just die because it's not getting enough circulation. But another cool thing about head transplants. Now this one's really creepy and really sad, so I don't want to freak you out if you don't feel comfortable. But I had somebody show me one time a Russian experiment that was done, and this is on YouTube. You can look at it. Just look up Russian dog experiment, I think might be what it called. But there was a bunch of Russians, I think in the 30s, 40s, 50s, something like that, that decapitated a dog and hooked it up to a machine to see how long the head would live. And it's like a really, really sad video, but it's like black and white, and it's like this beautiful white dog. His head is, cut at the neck, and they have it hooked up to a machine so that the blood will flow, and you see this dog like it's alive. And it's like the weirdest, saddest thing you've ever seen. Totally trippy.
I don't. That's something. Yes. I guess certain strides have to be made in the pursuit of
Science.
Right.
Kind of have to be a madman.
Yeah, definitely. I feel there are some other things dealing with the brain. I guess like how hormones affect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like bipolarism, I guess. Autism. Yeah. So, autism. What are your thoughts on the idea that certain like medicines increase the likelihood of autism in children?
I think that's dumb. I mean, I think that a lot of people have always been autistic. We just didn't really recognize it until recently. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to say fuck you to the guys that don't vaccinate their kids. 'Cause I'm pretty sure, like, Albert Einstein was autistic. A lot of scientists have been considered autistic. They just didn't have a name for it until recently, in like the last 30 years or so.
Wait, so you're saying you vaccinate?
I would vaccinate.
I wouldn't.
No?
No.
Why's that?
Well, like certain vaccinations, I guess, but if it's like not needed, then, well, this goes sort of to the idea that the government is like trying to limit the population. And
wait, why would they limit the population by giving them vaccines?
Because there's a side effect in some of the vaccines that like make men sterile and like give women fewer eggs and things like that.
But I don't think there's any research to prove any of that.
Is there any research to prove that I'm wrong?
I feel like if that was the case, then we'd have heard about it by now. We would have understood that that was a part of a huge amount of the population that had these same things happen to them. Now, I'm not saying that, like, men and women don't have, like, there are always problems when it comes to, like, sexual organs or whatever. Like, women have a time clock. Men can get prostate cancer. Like, it's a lot of variables in there. But with that kind of thing, I don't think the correlation and the causation are the same.
So, is there nothing that you think reduces the likelihood of people having children or like weird side effects in children?
I think that's just that's just what happens when the population is as large as it is. we're going to see more people with disabilities or more people with things that are different from our bodies, but, you know, like other people. But on the average, people are generally healthy. And besides, there's nothing wrong with people with disabilities, Garrison. Come on.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
I mean, I could talk about the brain for a while, but...
Okay, go ahead.
The brain. It is your organ. Take care of it. Yeah, that's a good point. Take care of your brains, guys. You need to... It is... Like you take care of your skin, you know? Like you take care of the nose hairs in your nose.
Some people don't do those things.
Like you clip your toenails or clip your fingernails. No?
Some people don't do that either.
Well, of those of you that do, I know that there's some out there. Take care of your brain. It is important.
Yeah, like Alzheimer's, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's important to keep your mind sharp.
Do math problems.
Right. Sudoku helps, right? I think. Read and do math and stuff.
Practice language.
Definitely. Music, right? I think.
Music. Yeah, music is linked to memory. Especially if you play it a lot. But sometimes, you know, a lot of those things are like genetic. Sometimes it's unfixable.
Which could also, like, your diet could help in the progression of Alzheimer's.
Yeah, like you could be like a completely healthy person on the outside, but on the inside, like your arteries are clogged and everything, and then that leads to lack of circulation to parts of your brain.
Which is pretty interesting how some people like either show or don't show their healthiness. Like some people can look really healthy,
Yeah.
but they're not. And the other one, where was I going?
Like you could look really unhealthy, but still like have like the arteries or lungs of like a 12-year-old.
Right. Okay, so for the latter, the one that you just said, like look old and messed up, but be young. Okay, so I guess for both of these examples, we're talking about diet. And let's say that, okay, would both examples be of people with poor diets? Because like they'll like their skin, because their skin is like their largest organ.
Right.
So their skin sort of like takes most of the damage.
Yeah.
But for like someone else, like their inner network may take more of the damage.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like smokers. Sometimes you won't know that they're smokers because
Until they open their mouth and.
Yeah, or like, you know, like their lungs are like black. You know.
Yeah. Like, have you seen like the jars?
Yeah, with
like,
cotton balls.
Right. Yeah. It's.
And they throw a lit cigarette in there. Yeah, you know, I still, like, I went through the DARE program, and I still ended up smoking for 6 years, so.
Wait, so you went in not smoking and you came out?
Yeah. I mean, I was like 12, but it's alright. No, I'm just kidding. I think I started smoking when I was like 13.
It's the brain.
The brain. I think that's it. That's really all I got.
Is that it? Yeah. This is what you get, folks, when you don't do research. You ramble.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and social. Be social. Don't be a recluse. I think that's important.
It's for the brain?
For the brain.
Yeah, because, like, whether a lot of people, like, especially introverts, I guess, want to admit it, we're social creatures, and on some level, we like need to communicate with other people in order to have a healthy state of mind. So Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. Don't be, don't be stressed out all the time. I don't know. There's like, it's a lot of emotional stuff, Like, I feel like the emotions that are involved in the brain are just as important as the brain itself. Because, like, we can't wrap around, like, how do you describe it? Like, that's a weird, like, metaphysical idea right there, right? Okay, so, like, are your emotions and your cognition the same as the brain itself? Oh, you want to know something that blew my mind? When I was like talking to somebody one day, but somebody was like mentioning the brain, and I was like, having a conversation with her, and she's like, you know what? The brain named itself, and I was like, whoa. Like, I was like, whoa, dude, too deep for me.
That's great. It's actually that just sparked a new idea uh, of of like robots, right?
Yeah.
So artificial intelligence is something that scientists are working on.
Yeah.
Okay, so when like we're basically just like, chemicals and e- e- electrical impulses firing off.
And water.
Right now, what if AI gets to a certain point? What makes them different from us? Besides a meat body.
Right. You know what made me laugh hysterically? Like, okay, so somebody was commenting on Elon Musk's like Twitter, and he was like, I don't understand why everybody's so afraid of AI. And he made a comment like, you could just pour water on them if they got to. And Elon was like, wow, you're actually right. I don't know if that's actually true. It could have been a Photoshop, but I thought that was funny. A little snippet.
Right. Yeah, I think I might have been watching the Young Turks maybe,
Yeah, that's a good one.
and they were mentioning this like they were working on like sex bots.
Yeah.
And is it technically consent if like you're okay, so if you program it to like lie, uh
To
or
lie
to
to
lie,
you? To tell
right,
you it's okay to have sex
or
with
something
it?
like, like they were like, can a machine give consent
It's a very
it
ethical question.
if it's like only programmed
Yeah.
for that, like, because it like can't really say no. And then they were talking about like making sex bots for like like young kids
For like 12-year-olds?
that would be 12, but for like the
You mean making sex bots that looked like little
right,
kids?
yeah,
Oh, that's fucked up.
yeah, like is that technically uh pedophilia or
Where's the line? I don't know. I think that sex with underage kids is really fucked up.
now, is that just a social construct because like people like 13, 14 would like have kids and like get married and stuff?
But they're doing it with each other. That's different.
No, like back in the day, with like,
Oh,
you
you
know,
mean like 30-year-old dudes
right?
and little girls that are like 12?
Is it only like bad because of the stigma we put on it? I mean, I think it's bad because they their brain isn't developed enough to
Right.
like really give consent.
Yeah. That's why it is bad. Cuz like when I was 12, I probably would have been really traumatized if I had been through something like that. Cuz you come out of it as an adult being like, I could have said no, but I didn't cuz I didn't know how to.
So yeah, robots, yeah.
AI. Just pour water on it.
Well, couldn't it be argued that um so we were talking about like they would basically be supercomputers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically with Google now, it knows what you'll pick before you do, most likely. So it would know you more than you know yourself. So would it then um, create circumstances in which to prevent you from pouring water on it, or to um, or anything like that?
Hmm.
See, that's sort of my problem with like the advancement of technology. Like we had a bit of an argument like a little while ago,
Right.
and you're for it, seemingly like blindly, but I think that things are like moving like so fast, and maybe we should like slow down to like hey, what are the repercussions of what we're doing, and what can we do to prevent a certain outcome.
No, I mean I completely agree with that, but like I'm not saying like I'm unaware of like the issues with
But
it.
you just don't care.
No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there are people that are smarter than I that are hopefully taking care of it. My trust is in the hands of the people that are smarter than me that are taking care of it.
Possibly, but if you trust Elon Musk, right?
I kind of idolize him. I probably
Right.
shouldn't, but
And he's saying, I'll just pour water on it. I think that man's hubris will be our downfall if we're not careful. And if we think that there's nothing to worry about, then there's probably something to worry about.
I don't know. My thing is like with the balance of the universe, everything has a way of balancing itself out. So if this is the way that man sees itself in the future, then that's fine, because that means that it was part of this plan that is completely like, and that's a weird thing. It's like I'm not like a religious person. I don't necessarily believe in God, but I do believe in the balance of the universe. And I think that eventually it will balance itself out.
Even if that means no more humans.
Even if it means no more humans. Or even if it means like a new set of humans.
Right. I was sort of thinking about this a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so someone said that humans are the sex organs of the machine world,
Huh.
which is like pretty crazy.
That is really cool.
And now, I was thinking, could machines give birth, right? So,
Oh shit.
like if
You
if-
just like blew my mind right now. Okay, go on.
okay, so we come from umbilical cords,
Mm-hmm.
right? So let's say the mom robot is with child,
Yeah.
and the umbilical cord is receiving information from the mother into the child. So, by the time it comes out, it's like, has like hundreds of years of knowledge.
Right.
Now, when the mother like ingests certain like
What does a robot eat?
like I guess like nanobots, like nanobots and like scrap metals, so it's like forming and like transforming.
Yeah. Okay.
And right, so do you know what phagogenesis is?
You said phagogenesis?
Yeah, phagogenesis.
Go ahead.
I don't think it's a real thing, but I was watching something and it was a really cool idea. Okay, phagogenesis is like basically when an organism eats something, its offspring will gain the characteristics of whatever.
Oh. Yeah.
it ate. So
It's like a passing
right,
of...
like so imagine that, but in a machine world, like that's like the amount of progress they can make in a short period of time is just incredible.
Okay, so, the whole thing that you just threw out there, right? It made me think of something. And stick with me here, okay? This is going to take a second for me to, like, find the words to explain what it is I'm trying to say. Alright, so, you mentioned something like, what if robots can birth themselves, right? And you said something like, humans are the sex organs of the machine world.
Right.
So what if, now stick with me, okay? What if humans are just a small aspect of the production line of the future of machine?
Right. Okay, you're right. Like so we're the cavemen to the next step.
Yes. Yes. And we weren't really meant to last. We were just kind of like, yeah, I mean, this is just like a small part of like the bigger picture, which is machine world.
Interesting. I can get behind that.
Okay. I mean, it kind of puts into perspective like the simulation theory, like it's a little bit.
Right. Would you say that it's a possibility that scientists want to make artificial bodies to like put our consciousness in so we could like live forever? And without I was gonna say I guess it could still work. It depends on what level like how much robot we are, but
Right.
we probably wouldn't need sleep or food.
Nope.
So we would like...
We wouldn't need to poop.
Yeah, we wouldn't need to poop.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we would, like, could we, like fly? Like,
We probably
I guess
could.
we could, yeah. See, why not? Yeah. I think I'm on your side now. Let's speed this thing up. Let's get there.
I mean, I think that's really cool. Like, we wouldn't have to do anything. I mean, that's why I'm so all for, like, putting, like, some sort of thing in my brain, like a cell phone in my brain, right? Like, think about,
Right,
like...
so the radiation could cook your brain and you could
yeah,
shorten your life.
Definitely. No, something sort of, like, I mean, maybe this is a little bit far-fetched, but some sort of, like, network system in my brain to where, like, I could telecommute with you without having to open my mouth.
So, like telepathy? Like...
Yeah, it'd be like telepathy.
Okay, would it be like an incoming call where you could ignore it or
That would
accept?
be sweet, because then you wouldn't have to worry about, like, interruptions, like, then you could, like, 100% focus on whatever it is that you're doing, but, I think that the brain is more powerful than that, and, like, with something along those lines, you would be able to find a way to control it without having to have, something as, I think that's a very basic, feature of phones, is ignore, answer. It's a very basic feature. But, like, if your brain wasn't in control of that, it would find a way to maneuver the call somewhere else to a different part of your brain. So you could still answer it.
Oh, like multitasking.
Yes.
Oh, that's another thing. Like, we could multitask, like, do, like, 5 different things at once. Mm-hmm. Maybe we would save so much time.
I know.
Wow.
Our lives would mean so much more.
I'm kind of looking forward to it now.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all I got.
Yep, I hope you guys enjoyed this nonsense on the theory of the brain with Garrison and Sarah. Catch you next time on
the theory of... ... Oh wait, what is next week?
Yeah, what is next?
Let me pull it up here. Da, 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 da. Make weed.
No, that's not.
Oh, maturity.
Yeah. Yep, maturity.
Maturity.
All right. See ya.
Bye bye.